Welcome everyone in the next lecture on probability distribution chapter. In today's lecture we are going to study the normal distribution, but before we proceed for normal distribution I just like to take a review from the previous chapter, that is continuous random variable. See here, capital X is a continuous random variable, f of x is a probability density function. Basically probability density function means a function satisfying the certain condition giving the probability that your value of x will lie between certain limits is called a probability density function, or simply a density function. That means suppose I want to calculate the probability of a less than or equal to capital X less than or equal to b, then which is calculated as limits from a to b f of x dx. It is nothing but there is a continuous graph f of x. For example, this is our continuous graph f of x. Then the probability that the x will lie between the limits a and b is nothing but it is the area under the curve f of x between the limits a and b. So this is the idea of the continuous random variable and the probability density function. The probability is nothing but area under the curve f of x between the limits a and b. Now taking this idea further, we are going to study the normal distribution. Normal distribution is one of the most important and commonly used continuous distribution. I am purposefully saying it is a continuous distribution, that is it deals with the continuous random variable. Okay. A continuous random variable, we now going to define the normal distribution. A continuous random variable x is said to be normal distribution, or it follows the normal distribution if with mean m, the mean is a small m, and variance sigma square if its probability density function PDF is given as f of x is equal to 1 upon square root of 2 pi into sigma into e raised to minus 1 by 2 into bracket x minus m divided by sigma square for minus infinity less than x less than infinity, minus infinity less than m less than plus infinity, and variance should be positive. Okay. If this is the probability, if we express the probability density function in this format, then the corresponding x is called as a continuous random variable which follows the normal distribution. Okay. Now the continuous random variable following the normal distribution with the mean m and standard deviation sigma, this can be denoted as x follows the normal distribution m and sigma. Okay. Now further I am going to mention one very important remark that is required for the problem solving. So you just note down this. If capital X be a normal variate, now I am using the word normal variate. What it means exactly? See, x is a basically continuous random variable, no doubt, and it follows the normal distribution. Hence, we call x as a normal variate with two parameters. One is a mean m and standard deviation sigma, or you can say variance sigma square. Then z is equal to x minus m divided by sigma is also a normal variate. Is also a normal variate, that is this value is nothing but our z, so we call it as a z is also a normal variate with, this is very important, with mean 0 and standard deviation is equal to 1, and this new normal variate z is called as a standard normal variate. This is very important remark, and it is very important for problem solving. Okay, now the further we are going to mention the some importance about the normal distribution. The variables such as height, weight, intelligence, etc. follows the normal distribution. Suppose I am taking the height of the say 1000 peoples, or say height of the 50,000 peoples, then average height then the if I collect all this data, then what I am observing, the data is in a continuous format. Okay, most of the times. Even temperature is also in continuous format. Suppose I am observing the temperature of a particular heating of a rod. I'm going to observe the temperature at a different side of the rod. Then the temperature get recorded at every second or every instant is nothing but a continuous data. Okay, so this is very important. Many other distributions occurring in practice, such as the binomial and the Poisson, etc., can be approximated by using the normal distribution. This is one of the very important remark. Okay, now further I am going to mention very important remarks. One is a mean is m, then standard variance is sigma square, and here mean, median and mode are equal. Okay, now moment generating function for the normal variate about the 0, that is about the settled tendency, is e raised to mt plus t square sigma square upon 2, and for standard normal variate moment generating function of the standard normal variate is e raised to t square upon 2. So you have to remember these two values. Okay, the next is very important theorem we are going to discuss, because we are interested in problem solving. So that property, or so that theorem, is called as a area property. Before I discuss the area property, once again I am just going to take a review that for a continuous random variable, the probability between a and b, probability of x is less than x between a and b, is integration from a to b f of x dx, which is nothing but area under the curve. Please remember this. Okay, now area property. If capital X is a normal variate, with mean m and variance sigma square, Z be standard normal variate with mean 0 and variance 1. Okay, then the area under normal curve means a curve which is associated with the x. So area under the normal curve of x between x is equal to m and x is equal to some other value x1, m means mean and x1, is equal to area under standard normal variate, or say standard normal curve instead of, and I just say the standard normal curve. And here also the area under the normal curve of x and standard normal curve of z. That will be more clear idea for you. So the area under the standard normal curve of z between z is equal to 0 and z is equal to z1, where z1 is equal to x1 minus m divided by sigma. Okay, now very important. Okay, just have a look at the diagrams, which will clearly give you an idea what exactly going to be happen. because this is where these diagrams are very important from your problem solving point of view also. See, suppose I am having the x-axis and y-axis, and there is a normal curve for the random variable x. This is my normal curve, and here I am having its mean m. The mean is m. Now there is some value, say x1. So what is the area between the limits m and x1? So that area is equal to, now in case of the standard normal curve, it is always like this. So mean is at 0. Okay. So, and here I am having the z1. So whatever the area between m and x1 is present, the same area is between z is equal to 0 and z1. This is very important property. Okay. I hope this idea is clear to you. Fine. Now, the area under standard normal curve from z is equal to 0 to various values z1 have been calculated and are given in the table. I am just showing the table while discussing the problems. For standard normal, these areas have already calculated, and there is a table called as a standard normal curve. Okay, so we are just going to see the table while solving the problems. But before we proceed further, there are few very important remarks that you must remember. The first remark is, since standard normal curve is symmetric about the y-axis, this is very important. Your standard normal curve is always symmetric about the y-axis. Why? Because its mean is 0. Okay, y-axis, it is enough to find the areas to the right of the y-axis. Means towards this side you measure the area, because it is symmetric. Whatever the area we find up to this is same as the area between 0 and z1. That is what the case. Second, the total area of the under the curve is unity. So the total area right from here to here is 1. Total area is 1, and area to any side of the y-axis, any side of y-axis is 0.5. I am discussing all these properties regarding the standard normal variate. Please remember, I am discussing these properties for the standard normal variate. Now the third very important point is to find the probability that, okay, I'll discuss it here. To find the probability that your capital X, which lies between x1 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to x2, that is, to find the probability between x1 and x2 is corresponds to probability of z1 less than or equal to z less than or equal to z2, where z1 is equal to x1 minus m upon sigma, z2 is equal to x2 minus m upon sigma. That means whatever the values are given for your normal variate, you have to calculate the corresponding values for the standard normal variate. Okay, and then this probability is nothing but area between z is equal to z1 and z is equal to z2 under standard normal curve. This is very important, because whatever I have discussed, major points are used to calculate or to solve the problems based on the normal distribution. Okay, so now let's begin with the problem solving. Yes, one more thing is you can just measure the areas from the two sides, and so many properties are there. I'm not going to discuss all of them right now. We just directly go on solving a simple problem. Okay, so the question is, okay, you might be required this page, so I'll keep it aside for showing you in between. Capital X be normally distributed with mean and variance, sorry, not variance, it's a standard deviation 4. Then find number 1, probability of 5 less than or equal to x less than or equals to 10. Number 2, probability of x greater than or equals to 15. Number 3, probability of 10 less than or equal to x less than or equals to 15. And the last one is probability of x less than or equals to 5. This information is enough for solving the problems. Okay, now in this problem there is no need to calculate a integration, not a derivative, not any measurements like that. If you know how to add, how to subtract, and if you once you get an idea how to use the standard normal standard normal curved table, then you can easily work out these problems. Okay, here mean is 4 and standard deviation, that is sigma, is also 4. Now number 1, we have to calculate probability of 5 less than or equal to x less than or equals to 10. So here your capital X will take the two values 5 and the 10. So our first step is find the standard normal variate towards the 5 and 10. So how you are going to calculate? Z is equal to x minus m divided by sigma. So Z1 is equal to, the first value of x is of 5. So 5 minus m, that is 4 divided by 4. So 5 minus 4 is 1 by 4, that gives me 0.25. Now what is Z2? Z2 is equal to 10 minus 4 divided by 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 by 4. 6 by 4 is what? 3 by 2. 3 by 2 is nothing but 1.5. So therefore, probability of 5 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 10 is nothing but probability of 0.25 less than or equal to z less than or equals to 1.5. That means this probability is nothing but area between z is equal to 0.25 and z is equal to 1.5. Now just have a look. This is your standard normal curve. If you prepare a diagram for your standard normal curve based on this value which I have obtained after this calculation, तुम्ही जर कर्व तो काढलात तर तुम्हाला जास्त सोपं जाईल. Now see, z is equal to 0.25. It would be somewhere here 0.25 and 1.5 would be somewhere here. So this area I have to calculate. Is it? Now how you will measure this area? See the table which I am going to show, which gives me the area between z is equal to 0 and z is equal to z1. Means what? It gives me the area from 0 to z1. It is not giving the area between 0.25 to 1.5, 0, then 0, 1.5 to 1. These areas are not get calculated. That we have to calculate by using addition and subtraction. Now how you will calculate this? See, from the table one can know the area from 0 to 0.25. Okay, and one can get an area from 0 to 1.5. So if I subtract this area from this, may I get the between area? Yes, exactly the same logic. So this is nothing but area between z is equal to 0 to z is equal to 1.5 minus area between z is equal to 0.20 z is equal to 0 to 0.25. Now measure these areas from the table. See, I am going to show you the table now. See, here is a table. Okay. Now first I have to calculate. See what written in the top of this. The table gives the area under standard normal curve from z is equal to 0 to z is equal to z1. That means, see this. It is giving you the area from z is equal to 0 to z is equal to z1, 0 to z1. Now, the first value is expected in this is 0.25. How to see the 0.25? Here I am having 0.2. Okay. Now 0.2, this is 0.00, yes, 0.00, 0.01, 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, 0.045. and so on like this. Now we have to reach for 0.25. Now how you will reach to 0.25? It's very simple. 0.2, see the row of 0.2. So this is the row of 0.2. And up to what you have to reach? We have to reach up to 5. So this is the value 0.987. So that area is 0.987. So area between z is equal to 0 to 1.5 is 0.0987 minus area between 0 to 0.25. Sorry. We have done a small mistake. The area between 0 to 0.25 we have measured, na? That's fine. So this is equals to okay. This first area we have to calculate. I have calculated the second one. 987. Okay, now we have to fill up this one, area between 0 to 1.5. Now where to see the 1.5? See, just go on watching up to this. Okay, 1.5, there is no further value after 5, so hence for 1.5 the value is 0.4332. 0.4332. That's it. Okay, now calculate this subtraction. 0.4332 minus 0.0987. See the value is 0.3345. Okay, so this is the expected probability in the first question, that is probability of 5 less than or equal to x less than or equals to 10. Now I am going for the second one, that is probability of x greater than or equals to 15. I am just going to show this example. The third and fourth you have to complete. Okay, x is greater than or equal to 15. How I will get this? For that I need to calculate the value of z. 15 minus 4 divided by 4, that is 11 by 4. 11 by 4 is what? 11 by 4 is nothing but 2.75. Okay, so therefore area probability of x greater than or equal to 15 is nothing but probability of z greater than or equals to 2.75. This is nothing but area under standard normal curve from z is equal to 2.75. That means what? This is the situation you have. Here somewhere you get 2.75 and we want the probability greater than or equal to 2.75, means this area we require. Now how to calculate this area? It's very simple. The total area to the right of the y-axis is 0.5 minus area from 0 to 2.75. Why? Because your table is giving you the area from 0 to z1 or 0 to 2.75, 0 to 0.25, 0 to 1.5. So hence this area is known to us. So what we do? We do total area, that is 0.5 minus the known area. So we will get this one. So 0.5 minus the area between z is equal to 0 to 2.75. Now see the table for 2.75, this is 2.7, then 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, that is 0.4970. .5 minus 0.4970. How much it is? Yeah, it's very less. 0.00. Yes, 0.003 something. That is your probability. Now the third one is very important. The probability of 10. Okay, I have already told. I will show the third and fourth as an. I am giving third and fourth as an homework, but still I am going to explain the third point. The fourth you have to do on your own. Probability of 10 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 15. Now how to proceed for this? For z1 for z, 10 minus 4 divided by 4, that is x1 minus m divided by sigma. So this is 6 by 4. 6 by 4 is nothing but 3 by 2, that is 1.5. Now z is equal to 15. Now for z is equal to 15, okay, so 15 minus 4 divided by 4, that is 11 by 4, that is 2.75. That means you have to calculate this area. Here it is somewhere 1.5 and here it is 2.75. This area we have to calculate. Okay, now finally probability of x less than or equals to 5 we have to calculate. So for 5 what I am getting, z is equal to 5 minus 4 upon 4, that is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is 0.25. So the probability of x less than or equals to 5 is nothing but probability of z less than or equal to 0.25. Now how to get this area? So z 0.25 is somewhere here. So less than or equal to 0.25 means this total area we have to calculate. How to calculate this? See, I have already told the total area under the curve is 1. You would select any side of the y-axis, either right or the left. The total area under the curve either for left side or right side is 0.5. Is it? So hence this is 0.5. Because see, this is to the left of your y-axis. So this total area is 0.5 plus this additional area from 0 to 0.25. So plus area between 0 to 0.25. So that area we have already calculated. How much it is? 0.0987. This is 0.5987. That is the total value. So now you have to complete only the third part of this problem. Okay. I hope this idea is clear. You have understood this. These are very basic problems. In the next lecture, we are going to see some interesting examples. Till that, thank you.